You're one of the. So I do have your effort around. Yes, I got the swivel. Well, they get a more money. Oh, there's another behind. Well, it was on Facebook.
So I was feeling really good about my running condition.
We finally got it to work.
Hey, all right.
It turns out I forgot to push the go live button.
No,
I thought it would do it automatically.
Yeah?
And it was there, and I just forgot to do it. So,
Well,
we'll get the second half. The most important part with you.
Okay, all right, good.
We'll come back now.
Make sure you start with the full recap of the first half.
Yeah. If you're just watching this on the replay.
So here's a real quick recap. Some goals, a couple penalties awarded. No drama.
Well, your bike just did what?
There was a moment where the frustration was starting to rise.
Now we're back here at the soccer complex of Racine here in Franksville, Wisconsin, on the outskirts of Racine for the 2023 49th Parallel Cup. And we'd like to welcome our live YouTube audience. There was a little bit of a, we were worried about gremlins, but it turns out it was a PEBCAC error. And for those of you who aren't IT people, that stands for problem exists between chair and keyboard. But we have that resolved. It's Brian Barish alongside Heath Moore set to go. And just a quick recap of the first half. The score, it's 3-4-22 for Canada, 2-4-16. And the U.S. Heath really started out strong in that after Canada, they scored the first 2 points. The U.S. got two goals, including one after the siren, and then Canada really hit back with the wind in the second quarter.
Yeah, it is kind of as the wind is as light as it is, has really been dictating the scoring half of this game, right? I mean, the first quarter, U.S. were able to capitalize or capitalize on opportunities. Second quarter with the wind, the Canadians came right back. So it'll be interesting to see how the third quarter goes if everything's going to be downwind, which is great because that's closer to us.
U.S. has the wind here in the third quarter, and you'll see the flags near the Watch AFL scoreboard when Craig Campbell, our camera person, goes to our right. That's Craig Campbell on camera, all the C's there. We're underway. Here's the U.S. and the white jumpers going from left to right. Here is Saleh Taibji. Big tackle and thrown down the half Nelson by Rob Tersini. And it'll be a free kick going for the Canada Northwind, and they have come right out of the chute. Well, no, it's going to be called a high tackle. Well, forget what I just said. That's Taibji. Nice bark by Burke McClure, and right now has come out firing.
So here we go on the downwind half of the ground. Penetrating kick into a little off target, but
Keith Phillips is there. Phillips picks that one out. He gets the ball back, looks for help, finds McKinney. McKinney gets away. Tackle. The mustard came off the hot dog. Big tackle thrown in there. Losing the foot, picking that one up and squaring is Tiger Werner. And Tiger roars. We're all square in Racine, USA 22, Canada 22.
Yeah, great big kick from a little outside the pocket. Dead center between the stick there. Can't ask for a straight kick in that. Again, downwind. New.
Andrew Werner, but the only people who call him Andrew are his mom and his wife, probably. That's it. Tiger has been around a long time, played in Australia at one point, hasn't suited up for the Americans since the 2015 AFL International Cup, rather the 2015 Parallel Cup. And good to see him back in the fold, and there he's rewarded Tom Ellis's selection with the tying goal. Canada now out of the ruck as we go once again. They come out to the near side, looking for 14, who sends this one down, and the mark is taken in front by Klein.
That was a great way to use space. He pushed back and created space in front of where the footy was actually going to come down. It was the push away from the back toward the footy and bring that down.
Eric Klein from the Hamilton Wildcats sends that one on the wind. It takes that one. It sprays it to the right. 3 white jumpers went up. The Americans try to clear that one out of the back. They do now. Sending that one down in the middle of the ground. Who wants it? Everybody. Who's got it? Nobody. Slapped down by the Canadians. Playing their way. That game is supposed to be like volleyball, but with the that's not happening.
It's called Australian football, Brian.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah, but they're playing the one with the net. The one they play in the backyard that they think is a sport, but it's not really a sport. Anyway, out the middle of the ground. You know what? I haven't had enough coffee today. It's sprayed up high in the air. We'll probably bring range. Sleeping, able to get that one down. McKinney stays on the foot. Here is Zach Finnick. Big pile up behind him. And that one's going to go back the other way. And the shove it down.
So here we go.
And here we go. And you can tell this rivalry starting to boil a little bit. And I honestly don't know. I mean, and Clyde Simpson is in there pushing and shoving. And I don't know if we're going to see any cards out of this. Remember, there are cards here. A yellow card is a 15-minute sending off, but the player can be replaced. And a red card is a send off. The player can be replaced for 15 minutes. The player is actually ejected, but they play short-handed.
So it looks like it was like an overzealous Shepherd collected 2 Canadian players. One pretty hard. Seems to be limping around. Another Canadian player took offense.
Team here, so they're going to play on. Schlesman, yes, he's going. Great tackle. and Theodore Schlesman playing his first Revo match. And I'll tell you what, for a Denver Bulldogs team who upset, well, I don't think it was much of an upset, who defeated Austin to win the Super Regionals about 6 weeks ago, he was one of their prime movers. Here's McKinney, a let go from 40 meters out. It's a wounded duck, but even wounded ducks find their nest.
They do. That was goal. Your man from Denver, his tackle, aggressive tackle to dispatch the Canadian player was the opportunity that the U.S. needed to get that goal.
4-4-28 U.S., 3-4-22 for Canada, and the spice really has now lifted in this match with that, I think.
That's a bit, we'll call it handbags there in front of us, a little pushing and shoving, that fire under the U.S., and we'll see how the Canadians respond.
Up in the air, back in the middle again, and here comes Canada, sending that one forward is Turpin. Turpin goes off to the side now, ball gets knocked clean by nobody, and now mushroom farming. Meyer is there as the ball is stuck in a virtual Meyer, in the virtual swamps of Franksville, Wisconsin, as that one is sent down the line, and there is the U.S. sending that one forward in on a line. It will roll, it'll skip, it'll hop, keeping it running like a house on fire as Coventry runs out the back, handballs it over to Turpin. Turpin goes forward. This is 24. He'll send that one on the left foot. It'll roll, it'll skip, it'll hop. This is Klein. Klein was collared by McGettigan. Umpire was okay with that. He says let the record play. Crash boom opera in the middle of the ground. This is Parallel Cup football, and here is Jason Nyston. Nyston's going to send that one over into the corner. Here comes Canada looking for the tying goal. Handballs it out again for Meyer. Meyer just got his foot to it in the middle of the ground. McGettigan close to it. It takes a wicked hop. 2 ball jumpers. Picked up and drop it. Big swing and a miss there. And spinning around that record. It's going to be without the ball as Livy grabbed and picked him. Go ahead.
Big Canadian voices. Everybody wants the footy, but he decides to send it down.
And getting knocked A over T there was Murphy. This is Klein who lost the footy. Handball up over the top, dropped in front now. A little shovel pass here. Schleisman lines up and goes down the line. Marked nicely. And it was marked by Eric Anderson. Anderson from Sacramento. Well, he's going to want that. That kick was uglier than my 12th grade Spanish teacher.
Yeah, I think uglier than mine as well. That was definitely a missed opportunity. He kicked it to pretty much no one in particular.
Smothered and covered like Waffle House hash browns by Mark McClure, and that will go out of bounds. 28-22, U.S. the lead, 4-4 plays 3-4. Just a reminder, if you're watching live, we'll have the full recording of this match for you a little bit later on today. And
it's going to be a ball up.
Yep.
U.S. player was able to collect it, but was tackled without, with prior opportunity, but without prior opportunity. Now it's going to be a ball.
Yeah, ball goes to ground. Looks at a handball out the back. Bounces out to Tersini, who gets the ball. Tried to get the ball forward. Ricochets off an American. This is Curtis. Curtis couldn't claim it cleanly. Now he gets knocked backwards. Good smother in there. Tackle without the footy. And it will go to the U.S. A chance to possibly extend the lead off the foot of Josh Curtis.
Yeah. Shoddy Curtis right in front of goal there. It was an arm in the tackle. Came over his shoulder. Again, umpires don't miss much. Their only job is the stuff, so we'll see what Josh can do with this. And
Curtis has really established himself as one of the best players, wide receiver at Presentation College in NAIA AA football, but didn't help his kicking there as he sends that out on the full. So it remains 28-22. And just to finish the thought on Curtis, you're very familiar with that Des Moines side, having played right up the road in Madison. He's really established himself as their best player, if not one of their best players, for an improving team.
Yeah, for an improving team. But he, in terms of a ticker, the man can run. He can run sprints, little sprints all day long, and doesn't get tired. It's really frustrating to play against him, I got to tell you.
Ball comes spinning back in the play once again. It gets knocked down, and over to get it is Livy. She gets shoveled in the back. Here's Curtis again. Curtis with a pitchfork handball. That is Livy once again. Couldn't get it, and tied up Canada. Scoring the footy on that far side. Takes Curtis out. There does Bausch. It's knocked back by the Americans. Nice sliding mark taken by Brett Bridges.
Great pressure by the Canadian backline. There's just no space at all for the U.S. to operate. They're not getting clean kicks. They're not getting clean passes. They're not getting clean disposals of any sort. Canadians just getting numbers around the football and keeping it from being shot through the sticks.
Bridges, a.k.a. Millie, head coach of the Ottawa Swans, just played for the Vietnam Swans over in Asia this past spring. As the ball gets picked up now by the U.S., the shot was taken down. He just got the ball away, sending that one high up into the pocket, and then it bounces away in front of two black jumpers. And a boundary throw in for the Americans, who lead 28-22. Brian Barish alongside Heath Moore. Craig Campbell is your camera person. And, of course, thanks to the good folks, Harry Grieving and everybody here at Visit Racine, and, of course, Tasmania, our major sponsors.
Love our sponsors. Thank you so much to Tasmania. Thank you so much to Site One for helping us out with goalposts today. Very, very, very much appreciated.
Yeah, Site One doing also as well. And then, of course, the free kick is, or, well, I don't know what's happening. It's going to be a free kick. It is. They put the ball down, and it's going to be given to, who is that? I think that's Curtis. Curtis has had a lot of touches lately, so I wouldn't be surprised if it is him. But he's going to be at an angle more cuter than my 3-year-old. That's cute, not cute. Sends this one on the way. The wind's going to take it. It blows it across the face. Knocked down in front. Got his foot to the ball. The umpire said he went over the line first. Oh, that was close.
Yeah, awfully close from our angle. We're pretty far away, though. So
trust the goal umpire on that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we'll have to trust the goal umpire
but
on that.
But now it's a 2-kick lead. It is 4-5-29 on the Watch AFL scoreboard for the Rebels. Canada are 3-4-22. So 7-point lead. And Heath, I'm watching this wind pickup that Canada is going to have in this fourth quarter. And if you're an American fan, if you're Tom Ellis, you want to see more points on the board because Canada has established that they have the finishing kick.
Absolutely.
Ball goes in the middle of the ground once again. Canada wants to release some of that pressure going into the fourth quarter. It's picked up and moved forward, looking for McClure. Overkicked everybody. Livy couldn't get out of the back. That was a fit of fury, but right to Stork McClure, looking for Curtis, who paddles the ball forward. Picked up and dropped, cleared out by the Northwind, and coming over to get it. It bounces in front of Rabbit. Kendall Hutchings has it. Now sending that one back in towards the way. And now over the top, and it's marked nicely by Timmy Lindfeld.
Big switch to the field, smart play there. Stretch things out, give yourself some space.
McGettigan.
A penetrating kick right to Curtis, who
took the mark.
Yeah, it looks like
they paid it.
Looks like he was paid the mark.
So this is Curtis. So Curtis will go back, sending this one on the way. And up over the top, ball goes to ground. Who's out the back? Two Canadians are there. There's lead pressure. Canada is able to clear. Schlesman is all by himself. So watches it go through his hands, and the ball tumbles out of bounds. He almost looked like Willie Mays in center field at the Polo Ground, backing up. But he's going to get a free kick. It looked like, or were they going to call it out? No, they did pay it.
He was tackled off the ball. Big Chick was paid.
Oh, over the top, look out.
Center kick, disrupted by the Canadian defenseman. Canada has dropped a lot of players in their back line. They're trying to flood that back line, knowing that the wind is going to give the U.S. an assist. That's going to explain why the U.S. is really having trouble finding space in their forward line. Counter-attack from Canada in a half-back, bouncing to the advantage of the American player. American player looking for a hand pass, decides to kick Canada. So they're going to roll out of bounds for a boundary throw.
Yeah, in Canada, it seems like they really are, they're parrying away these attacks very well. And it also has to be said, the U.S. is doing in their offensive line, but they're missing some of these. But I also think that the wind is swirling a little bit, and so even though it's playing in that way, they're not reading it as well on shots for goal. Of course, they'll have an opportunity here, and the question is whether or not they decide to center it just checking the mark here. We're gonna have it again. It looks like.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna do that again for some odd reason. But look, there's not a single Canadian player on the offensive side of the field.
Yeah.
They're completely trying to bottle up, knowing that the wind is going to give an assist.
17 of their players are inside the 45-meter arc. This is Josh Curtis. Once again, strides forward. And he's going to set sail on this swirling wind from left to right. It's low and into the wind. And the umpire says it's gone behind the stick, and that's another point.
And another missed opportunity for the United States. And the fourth quarter is gonna be telling, because if the U.S. cannot accumulate points in the scoreboard with the wind assist, it may come back to haunt them here in the fourth quarter.
Very well might. And that's the thing, though, is that, that as well as Canada played in the second quarter, the U.S. is going to have to put up a wall. We've seen it before, although it is a little bit less humid than it was in Fort Lauderdale in 2015. We'll have to see what happens as the ball goes up on the far side now and it's marked over the top. Here comes Canada. Had a couple of completions. They've gotten the job about 3/4 of the way done here in this third term, but they haven't really gone. It looked like an American player was cleared out there, no call. And going to pick that one up is Canada. They're going to bootleg around, send that one in. One player back. It's Ryan Gettigan, and he's going to watch the ball scrape through four behind. First point of this second half for the Canadians. On the Washington scoreboard, the Northwind are 3-5-23. The U.S. are 4-6-30, as we've completely forgotten our timetables.
Kick out.
Please come on and lead us on mark.
Strong hands.
Ball off. Side. Putting that one on was Steinbeck, and that was picked off and it was the crap.
Again.
Here now, yeah, that's happened again. But that one wasn't a very good kick, and it's stayed in play somehow. It does go out of bounds in front of Aaron Falcione. Well, again, we've said has been around. He played in the first International Cup all the way back in 2002.
Well, he's been around for a while.
Yeah.
That kid, quote unquote.
Ball comes back in, picked up by Coventry. Coventry goes and looks for Bausch, who is tackled. Play on set to umpire, and there is Nyston, and trying to go down. They're looking for a call. Lee and Nyston are locked in a group, and the umpire is trying to get attention of the umpire, but the chaos ensues around them. Smothered off the foot of Steinbeck. Meyer picks this one up, and it's dropped, and it'll be a free kick to Canada. U.S. starting to play a little bit of discipline.
Yep. Getting a little frustrated with what the Canadians have done in there, to disrupt. And now the Canadians showing some fitness by able to flip from the back line back into the forward line. Yeah, more indiscipline play there. A couple of headshots, pushing and shoving, and maybe some discussions off the ball.
And they're not discussing who has the better cheese curds around here, Culver's or Georgie Porteous.
They are not.
But I'm not going to give them a plug, but Georgie Porteous is real good. Here's Werner, who has it bounce up. Here comes lining up his first shot. He pretends he's Eddie Betts, but skitters it the stick.
Yeah. And he is not Eddie Betts. Eddie Betts is Eddie Betts.
Eddie Betts is Eddie Betts.
I don't think the American player knew he had as much time as he had.
Yeah.
And again, that desperation kick is going to open you up for a result that's less than spectacular, or at least less than what you wanted.
Back to 8 points. It's 31-23. 4-7 plays 3-5, and that one is centered out to the near side and knocked out of bounds by Jeff Coventry. Coventry again from the Ottawa Swans, as we mentioned, played a Canadian player, and also, as we said, was preseason invite the Montreal one time as Murphy handballs it forward, looking for Shotwell. Handballs it over. This is Falcione, and this one is in the ground. Canada trying to desperately get it out. Ball gets knocked backwards, sending this one up high. Who wants it? Who's got it? 3 players are there. Lee had it off of his hands. Ball comes through once again, and that one is backpedaled there by Shotwell. And the U.S. will recycle things. Up on the far side now. here. They throw a Shepherd. This one in. And off the top, so it'll play on Simpson. Handballs it back for Livy. Simpson finds Phillips. Phillips runs into a black ball, sending this one in. Low, slow, but it's marked nicely. And again, it's Morgan White, who was there in the last, who was Johnny on the spot, just like a porta potty.
Just like a porta potty. Absolutely no space for the U.S. to operate in. They can't get their shots off. They can't get hand passes off. It's just desperate there. That flooding tactic by Canada is certainly having an effect.
And it's really, really picking the U.S. off in a lot of these cases. And every time it's almost like a mirage. Every time it looks like the Americans have that opportunity, either it disappears or the other side of that is they're still having trouble executing in these wind conditions.
Correct.
And Canada, who has shown as well as they have. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the pressure creates the mistakes that, again, like an example here we're seeing about 20 meters out from the goal mouth, sprayed across the face, and that appears to be out on the full.
So it'll be a free kick to Canada. Latter stages, third quarter. As we move along here at the soccer complex of Racine. And again, our Tasmanian visit Racine, One Stone USA, as well as Odin Mortgage. As out to the near side, and about 5 people jumped, and Jeff Coventry took them up, and that will do it. 3 quarters, 60 minutes in the books, 20 to go here in Racine. The score on Watch AFL score, it's the USA 4-7-31, Canada 3-5-23. But if you're Canada, you have to be going into this huddle positive, because you held the U.S. They were down. They had 16 points at halftime, or 15 points at halftime. So, or no, they did have 16 points at halftime. So they held them to 15 points. And you've got the win, and you look fresher of the two. You look the more polished of the two.
They do. They look much more composed, and the frustrating from the U.S. not able to use them to their advantage was showing as that third quarter wore on. And if you're Canada, you're thinking, great. The thing that is the most effect on this game that we can't control, we've been able to somewhat neutralize in the third quarter. Now that wind is going to work in our advantage, leading to the fourth quarter. So very interesting what adjustments the United States make. Are they going to flood as well, or are they going to try to, hey, we need points? We have to get points. We have to get the ball in our attacking 50.
Absolutely. Well, we'll find out what happens when we return. We're going to step aside, come right back to the fourth quarter. Don't go anywhere. Or unless you need to, use the restroom, because we're not monsters. Go have a tinkle and then come back for the fourth quarter when we return. You're watching the 2023 29th Parallel Cup from Racine, Wisconsin, here on USAFL.com. or an IT10T error. Which looks like
So, oftentimes our error was air gap, or the flow wasn't there.
and for next week. All we need is the cars right up against the goal post. The cars right up against the goal post.
Some old guy reading the newspaper.
Ready, meter? Big card.
Stand by.
Back here for the fourth quarter of the 2023 49th Parallel Cup. The 29th Parallel is somewhere a lot hotter than where it is right now, where it is here right now. Actually, I think it would be Florida. But we are here as the USA Revolution trying to see out their 11th win in this series as they lead Canada 31-23. What tricks do the Canadians have? Can they get their first win in 16 years? Those questions will be answered in the next 20 minutes. Brian Barish alongside Moore and Heath. Like we said, Canada, I think you'd have to take them here. I mean, you get the win, but the U.S. has to play smart. They almost have to play the perfect quarter.
I would absolutely agree with you. Whatever defensive plan the U.S. has to be executed to perfection. All the elements, including kicking accuracy, intensity, and, as I've mentioned before, maybe once or twice, the wind is all going to be working in the Canadians' favor.
Yeah, everything's going to go their way. So that's why I said the U.S. has to really, I think, it's going to be up to them to really just buckle down. And they've got to, anything they've had, I mean, all the things that they trained for to get to this point over the last few months, and really it's both teams, is going to come as Jeff Person, our umpire, finally hears the siren, and the fourth and final quarter of this match is underway. Donald Lee is in the middle against Coventry, and Coventry wins it. Out to the near side, Canada will hit the first use of the footy. Over the top, nice spoil by Taiji, but then it's picked up and a whistle and a free kick to the U.S.
Yeah, a little high. Also, it didn't collectively and thrown off of it. And an opportunity here to repel the first Canadian attack by the Americans.
U.S., if they could get a goal here, that would really, really change the perspective here on this Canada side. And we'll see what happens as this one goes down the ground. Ball comes high up in the air and shot on. Continued by Klein. Over to get it now. There's four white jumpers, and none of them can pick up the foot. Gettigan almost hit, and then it's picked up by Schlesman, and then sending that one, turning and trying to play one up on the corridor on the far side in front of a small but growing crowd as the ball goes out of bounds. Nice to see a people, a lot of locals too, coming out to watch the match here.
Yeah, that is always good when you can hear some people clapping, cheering, giving it out to the umpire is always good to see.
And this one is sent back in off the boundary. Meyer had it, just got it to his foot. It was up high in the air, all over the top now, and
looks like the Canadian player played on and paid the price.
And that is not Schleisman, that is Dennis Steinbeck. Shout out to Columbus Cats. And while we're giving shout outs here, now that we're live, a shout out to Patrick McNeil and everybody watching back in Halifax, part of the Halifax Dockers. Patrick was the play-by-play announcer for this game last year. And our thanks to him for providing us information about the Canadian and also the American teams as well as the ball gets tipped over the top. And here is, that is Peter Bailey from the Des Moines Roosters. We know Donnie and everybody are watching back in Des Moines. And the ball, it'll be, well, what is that, Pete?
I believe.
Boundary throw. Never mind.
Throw in, yep.
Thank you very much. Ball comes spinning back in the play. It bounces away. Big tackle thrown down there by Fashant, but the ball had already been disposed of. And it is very much honeypot footy right now. Everybody pretending they're and they're over on that far side. That's my Robin Williams doing Winston Churchill doing. Robin Williams doing Winston Churchill.
Your impression of someone doing an impression of someone doing an impression is gold.
We will fight them in the land and the air. Eeyore and Tigger and Pooh Bear. As the ball goes on the far side. That's for my daughter who lets when I do that. She's been watching just now. But anyway, here is Phillips who sends that one in, but all by himself was Morgan White. And it was a good idea, but unfortunately, Eric Anderson was maybe about 50 meters from where the intended target was. And White was looking. I think he was more looking. He was more looking like Shane Victorino that time in the outfield, just camping under the ball. I would say Bryce Harper, but Bryce Harper is playing first base now. So
baseball references in Aussie Girls. I love it.
That's what we're here for, dude.
That's what we're here for.
Listen, it's big in Australia now. They've got a 6-team league, or 7 teams. Of course, it depends on what they do with Auckland.
You know what? Not to sound too condescending, but good for them.
No, seriously. Listen, they did well in the World Baseball Championships not long ago. So 31-23, scoreless fourth quarter. Canada with the wind and the notion, sending this one. Tip nicely. Meyer putting some pressure on Klein, who was taken down. And the crowd, the ball, but the question is whether or not I think the ball went out of bounds.
Yeah, free kick to the United States.
No, it was a good tackle. Chance Meyer. Meyer, a fantastic story, was the MVP, best and fairest rather, of the Super Regionals held on June 24th down in Kansas City. And the mark is taken by Livy. This is a little bit better out of defense from the Americans. They look a little bit more exposed. Sending that one on is Livy. That's marked by Sean. This is a little bit better. They're stringing some of these kicks together.
They're just being a little bit deliberate on their disposals, not panicking.
That one is sent forward by McKinney. Lee, no, but that has 3 players, and they will release the present danger as Schleisman takes the mark. This is Hutchings. Rabbit plays it into the middle, a little too high for his intended target, and that one is cleared, but not out. It's marked by Werner. Tiger has a goal, doing off the Canada defender. Punch forward or tried to by Coventry. All he got was red lights, and that should be tackle for Murphy. No, he didn't have the footy first. That could have gone either way, I think, Heat.
So, too, I think the reason he dropped the footy was because he was under pressure.
Out to the near side now, one-on-one contact. They're going to come right into our living room as Schleisman and Chris Moning from Hamilton Tigers came into the portable press box momentarily. Boundary throw in from right in front of us. Who is that? Who is our boundary throw?
This is one of my club mates from the Wombats.
What's his name? What is his name?
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
I can't hear you. Anyway, well, he's wearing a Wisconsin Wombat Badger shirt as that one is kicked in, and it is by Donald Lee. He got higher than Joe Cocker and took down a bushel.
Hey, marked by the big fella, certainly under pressure. Definitely got up higher than one, but great hands. Let's see if he can make this happen for the United States.
There's a joke about rucks and kicking, but let's see if Lee can dispel that. This would be a huge, huge goal. The left-footed kick is on the way. It starts right. It stays right. It is off of hands. It's still in play, and it is nurdled through for a minor score. That's the first score of the fourth quarter. Canada's, I think they'll take that. It's
I think so too.
It's a 4-8-32 to 3-5-23. It's a 9-point lead on the Watch AFL scoreboard. Brian Barish and he, whose voice you're going to hear now.
Hey, everybody. Looks like the United States are, like we said before, much more composed, much more deliberate in their action, and much more patient. And hopefully, against the breeze, they can add a few points to their total.
This is Keith Phillips who puts one up. Did he pay it? Oh, no. I pushed off. It did Zach McKinney. as he pushed off to take the mark, which is a shame for him, only because it was a nice mark. But that would have sent down the far side now. 3 men fly. Murphy was up there, no. Tyabji paddles it forward. This is Phillips, who is taken down high. They're going to pay that downfield.
Yeah. I didn't see the infraction, but the whistles were blowing as the football was pushed in.
Yeah, that was he was collared after whistle. He gets paid downfield, and he goes in short to Livy, and Livy will have a crack from about 40 out. I mean, a goal against the wind would be about as much as 2 goals here.
I agree. A little ambitious from 45 meters out against the wind. We'll see what the U.S. player can do.
Well, they'll scramble the Jets, will the Americans, in the top of the goal square. The kick is on the way. It's not going to make the distance.
It's a mongrel.
Oh, but there is Meyer out the back. He slipped, and it's passed through or checked. That was
punched through by the Canadian defenseman. Yeah.
I think that was Julian David who punched that. And is through for another blind. And again, it's 10 points now on the Watch NFL scoreboard. Oops.
And if the U.S. can lock this in, upwind, and keep the football here, they can definitely run up the clock for the Canadians.
That was Julian David, my apologies, who was in the back. Meyer is over here on the far side. And it's up on the far side now. David, who's Bianca Marshall, plays for the Sacramento Suns team. And hello, everybody watching out in the Californian capital. He sends that one out. Schultzman will drop that one. He comes out, he punches it free. It's like volleyball. Here is flash for Schultz. He sends that one in. As that one goes off the Canadian player shins, and overrunning it was Trent Lusar. Is for Burnaby. Moonlight for the Grizzlies. Fashant picks it up again. Who wants it? Oh, just dropping it with another Grizzly there in McKinney. But now up on the far side, they'll send that one forward. It'll roll, it'll skip, it'll pop. The Americans are happy. They're clapping for something. Here is Phillips, a little footballing, jiggery pokery. Sends that one to the top, looking for D-Rock. Donald Lee. He's a little closer now, and this might be, and he'll go back and try and extend.
Marked by the big fella. I'm pretty impressed with his play today. He had to fight for the spot that he was occupying and had to protect himself on the footy. He did a lot of work before that ball was even kicked to hopefully will be rewarded by 6 points.
There's some argy-bargy going on behind the play, I think, or there's something happening, but that won't distract Lee from stepping up and going bang. The umpire gives the 2-finger salute, the one you can show on TV, and on the scoreboard, they gave them an extra behind over on the scoreboard that I may have missed. They've got 5-9-39. We're going to adjust that for now. Watch AFL scoreboard, 5-9-39 to 3-5-20. It's now 16 points, and now I think at the U.S. they look a little bit more fitter, and now it's Canada's defense that's wilting under the pressure.
Yeah, agreed. And maybe that the flooding tactic from the last course coming to haunt Canada. You got to have execute, and maybe they're price right now.
As the ball is up on the side, the ball Canada trying to get something going here. And they trail by 16 points, 39 plays, 23. That one is sent down the line and over the head of Coventry. Didn't take room service. Rabbit Hutchins warning the ball forward. That was a punch. That wasn't a terrible dad joke, Brian. And there, as there was some collision there, there will be a free kick. And it will go the way of Canada for contact off the contact.
The Canadian player going quickly. Not the prettiest kick in the world, but certainly penetrating.
I seen uglier as the ball goes off the legs of Racine, plays for Toronto Rebels. As we said, that competition, the largest competition, really I would say the largest local competition in Canada, in North America. They've got, most of the teams are in the Toronto area there. And of course, we've got teams like the Rebels, the Dingoes, the Eagles, a couple of the teams in the Toronto area, but then you go out, you have the Grand River Gargoyles and the Hamilton Wildcats, and then all the way up to the Swans. So this will be a chance for the Canadians. It's the first real chance they've had in some time, and they need a goal, or else this might be all she wrote. It might be gone like the Pac-12 conference, as this one is sent to the top of the square. It is a beautiful goal. Oh.
That was a nice straight kick. He let loose of that probably between 45 and 50 meters out with the wind. Looked to be pretty much a straight to turn a fray.
Yep.
And the Canadians were able to use the wind to their advantage finally. Now, what is probably halfway through the fourth term.
39-29 as they go on the 4-5-29. USA are 5-9-39. So is that a lifeline? Is that the way back to this team? Here comes a great smother boot. Throws that one on a second smother in there. The U.S. battening down the hatches as it looks like 2015 all over again with this defense. They squirted out to the far side. Been put in the back no as Meyer sees it out of bounds. It'll be a throw in the pocket 40 around.
Yeah, you see some absolute desperation from the U.S. just to bottle it up, just to disrupt the Canadian attack there.
Ball comes spinning back in the play once again. Canada trying to fight for another goal. Here comes Giannato smother and it deflects out of bounds. It'll be a boundary throw in 35 meters around.
So we've got two Canadian players slow to get up in that last passage of play. Great job by the American backman, though. He didn't panic. He didn't blaze away trying to get the footy out. Now, it was ultimately smothered in the end, but at least he was deliberate with his disposal.
Eric Klein there was the man who got up slowly as they come up on the far side, and the ball has gone out of bounds once again. It'll be a boundary throw-in.
Boundary line is going to be the American's best friend at this stage. Would you agree?
I would agree as well. And it looks like a Canadian player, or is that the American? It's going to be a Canadian player down. They've got the trainer on, so it looks like he looks like he's off the field, although they are holding off, and I believe they are saying the time is off. So we haven't had a chance here to tell you that if you're watching us here in the U.S. and you want to check out more about Aussie Rules football, you can catch us at usafl.com, on Facebook at facebook.com/USAFL, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, everything else. We're at USAFL 1997. And go check out AFL Canada as well on their social media. They're generally AFL Canada on everything, and their website is AFL Canada. And we got to say this about them. They're rivals on the field. And I know, the Americans want to beat them and vice versa. But the growth of footy in a foreign land is very important. And Lockie Griffiths and his crew up there north of the border have done a tremendous job, really, in the last 20 or so years to grow that program.
Yeah, and that's especially, you had mentioned the growth of the league in the Toronto area. It's something that would be certainly coveted by the American program. I know as a board member we talk about, trying to emulate or at least find that growth and the maturity that league has gotten is something that we would like to see over the next number of years.
AFLO coming up on their 35th anniversary season next year, which is great to see. Lee, who's in the ruck. This is Walker, who tries to go back to go forward. A shot for a goal. It's off to the side, and Canada's knocking on heaven's door. It's back to a 9-point game. 5-9-39 for the Rebels, 4-6-30 for Canada. They haven't updated on the scoreboard yet. Now they are, I think. That's why I'm saying I think the scoreboard's a little. I'm trying to keep up with what they have over there.
Great.
Nice mark by Garcia. Garcia just gets it away, and another 25-meter penalty. It was a 25 penalty. As saying over the mark there was Falcione. This one is short, but it's out of the full. So perhaps ball don't lie as the sun has come out here in Racine. As this one is kicked down the line once again. Ty tried to get over the top. Getting in, got the handball off, getting away, and getting that one on was Garcia. It's a worm finger-breaking mongrel kick. Oh, what a smother by Mark McClure. McClure came in like Superman. And a boundary throw-in. Woo! McClure has had his share of issues. Injuries will hampered his Major League Baseball career, and also he missed out as Fashant and never had it cleanly, and he's saying he never had it cleanly, but the umpire said he dropped it. But just to finish, McClure suffered a ACL injury in the 2017 Eastern Regional, which kept him out from the International Cup. So, as Tyebji, and how do you spell Tyebjee? Here is Tyebji up the far side now. It's marked by Hutchins. Here comes Rabbit, hopping his way through, looking for Werner. A couple of animals, Tiger and Rabbit. He is shoved down though, and Canada will come back the other direction, and it's punched through, and the ball goes out of bounds. Garstar heading towards the boundary line. It's kicked off the ground. Stayed in play, up on the far side now, and the ball goes out.
The Canadian player pulled off the footy as to kick it, and that was the right thing to do because it just dribbled out of bounds. Thrown right back in. Oh.
Yep, here comes the ball once again as my papers have gone flying. We'll get to that in just a moment. As thank you, boundary man.
Full service boundary
umpire.
It's
boundary full service boundary umpire. Love it. Ball comes back in. The umpire waving his hand, saying he just doesn't care. He says, actually, I do care, but play on. And it will be a signal of free kick originally.
Going to ball up.
Ball up. This, again, that's been a good matchup to watch. Lee versus Coventry as Curtis skittled that one forward. And McClure, ball comes high up. Mark McClure. You may remember me from such films as, never mind. Ball comes up on the far side now, and players are tripping over each other, and it will be a free kick to the U.S. Looks like high contact was called. The umpire is toward us. So here is, the U.S. looking for a free kick call, and they're not going to get it. The Canadians will get it. No, I don't know. I've lost the ball. The ball's all the way down here. Here comes now Canada. They're inside the top of the 40-meter arc. Here comes McClure, who dropped the middle, and it'll be a free kick. Not over yet for Canada. They need 2 goals still. It's still 39-30.
50-meter penalty called against Canada. This is the opening the Canadians are looking for. A bit of undisciplined play by the American player to give up a free, taking the player from outside his range, probably within his range with the wind.
So the kick will come as we look for the man with the ball. This is Klein, whose kick is on the way. It is dead center, perfect. They're alive. And on the Watch AFL scoreboard, it's half a goal, 3 points. Canada goes to 5-6-36. The USA are 5-9-39. Can't be much time left here. We're going to have this. This is a classic. It's going to go down to the wire.
A classic matchup between traditional rivals, Canada and the USA. If I am a U.S. player right now, I am in desperation. Repeatedly through this game, you really have to execute cleanly now for the next few minutes if the U.S. have a chance.
Yep.
Of taking the cup. Looks like a penalty awarded to the U.S. probably for a pull of a jumper.
McKinney with the footy now. We're just checking our 49th Parallel Cup history to tell you about the margins about this, because now we're starting to look at the closest one, and it will be a free kick to Canada. That is not what they needed. The USA's smallest version, the smallest margin of victory, the U.S. won by 2 in 2003 in Pittsburgh. It's going to be very close, and Canada might get it, but Flash Fashant takes a nice mark. He's going to waste as much time as he can here. He's going to send this one in the middle of the ground. Over to get it is Garcia with another nice ball. Daniel Garcia from the Houston Lone Stars. He's going to wait, and he's going to sit. And he's going to tell him to play on. It goes off the side of his foot. It's going to drop in front of McClure. It's going to clean ball the defender. Schlesman comes to pick up. That is well, Canada threw everything and the kitchen sink and probably every other appliance they brought down with the north of the border. But for the 11th time in 12 tries and for the 17th time in 18, it's the USA Revolution victorious over Canada But my goodness gracious, what a game this was. It is the second closest game in this long and storied rivalry. The final score, the USA Revolution 39, the Canada Northwind 36, and that might be in deference to that 2003 game, because I didn't see